Oh, how's that for a long delayed intro, right? What is up, everybody? It's Thursday, and you know what that means. Check your watches because it's time for Triple D. It's Dynamite with Dezzie and Dean. How are you, Dean?
I'm all gravy, dude. Yeah, man. Sun's shining in beautiful Yorkshire today. So, as you can see, I've got a bit of sun on my face. So, it always feels good when the sun's out. And another great show. Good episode of Dynamite. So, looking forward to talking to you about it with you.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like we said, it's the go home show here for Dynamite. It's Fighter Fest go home show. So it's the last one we're going to see here before the big 2 week pay per view, or pay per view, I guess. It's like a special event they're doing, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty stacked card for Fighter Fest. And tonight really formed the rest of that. So last week on the show, last week on Dynamite, QT Marshall and Alley, they blew a big tag team championship match for the Natural Nightmares. Big Swole took out the Trash. She took out Britt Baker. Anna Jay and Colt Cabana joined the Dark Order. Ricky Starks made his AEW debut, and the Best Friends remain the tag team champion, number one contenders. So the Best Friends still number one contenders there for the tag team titles. So this week here, we started off. Okay, dude, we have been talking about this first match here. We've been excited for this first match here for a very long time. As pretty much as soon as they started dropping hints that they were going to do it, Luchasaurus versus Wardlow in what they turned into a lumberjack match. So we start off the show here. The lumberjacks are all around the ring. This is it. It's going to happen here. Like we said, it's been a growing story. We've been very excited for this. Kind of weird right off the bat with the whole lumberjack concept. Luchasaurus rolling out of the ring. I get that he's with his buddies, but throw him back in. That's your whole purpose of being there, right? But it played to the good guy, bad guy motif there pretty good. Both of these dudes are so agile, man. There's like, what was it? JR even said it. There's a lot of money in athletic big men, and we have two of them right here. So this is a guy with experience who knows, right? He knows what he's talking about. Super strong kicks from Luchasaurus, as always. Super educated feet, as they were called. Massive superplex. JR took the words right out of my mouth as he typed, because I was like, whoa, that was a massive superplex. And he says, massive superplex. So I thought that was huge. That massive slam on the ramp. These guys, crazy spots in this match here. I thought it was awesome. Super good match here all the way through. Of course, Luchasaurus with his ultimate agility, his shooting star press off the stage onto the bad guys there. I thought that was super rad. The whole match fell apart. The referee wasn't even counting anymore. These guys walk up the stage. Brandon Cutler tried to get involved. He tossed him. Marco Stunt goes up to Wardlow, and I have never seen a toss like this in my life. Dude. The way that Marco Stunt got thrown, like he got lifted up. You can see the height, and it's like, whoa, like as he reaches terminal velocity coming down. Oh my gosh, he really flew. Wardlow falls, all the guys fall down. Luchasaurus with a shooting star press off, like I said, huge. Luchasaurus with a chokeslam finish. I thought it was going to be the finish right there. That chokeslam is dangerous. MJF distracts the referee. Jungle Boy with that wicked dive to MJF right through the ropes, out of the ring onto the bad guys. And of course, Wardlow takes advantage of that, the referee's distraction, and hits the F10 for the pin. So that's 5 in a row now for Wardlow. So Wardlow now is 5 wins in a row. Very impressive. Super cool match, man. What did you think about it, Dean?
Oh, I loved it. Like you say, we've been so excited for this match. Two big, awesome guys. My first note is the two biggest cruiserweights in the world, because they're both so quick and agile for such huge men, and like super strong, especially Wardlow. He quite literally manhandled Luchasaurus, who's a big dude. Luchasaurus is bigger than Wardlow. Wardlow's massive, but he just the way they've easily picked him up. Like as if he's Marco Stunt, they easily picked him up. And like you say, that superplex is what it says in my notes. Because like you say, how easy he just picks off. Fantastic Wardlow. I'm really impressed with him. And I love Luchasaurus as well. Like, I had Wardlow winning this because I think there's a story to tell, with Wardlow getting the win here. You see that awesome Spanish fly as well, which looked really scruffy, but because they're so big, it felt so impactful, the way he landed on top. Like you say, the strength, that throw of Marco Stunt, when Wardlow threw him into space, he went so high. It was good that they got the right camera angle. Even Lance Archer couldn't throw him that high. He launched him. I didn't think he was going to come back down. It was almost like he went off the screen. and then came crashing back down. But I love how, and like you say, the finish were good because it's like the heel's cheating, but Wardlow probably could beat him on his own. But that's what you want. The face is protected. And I love how his finish is called the F10.
Yeah.
Because it's like it is an F5 times 2.
Yeah.
I wonder if WWE are a bit pissed off about that, the fact that it's called the F10, direct comparison. It's like, yeah, well, mine's bigger and better.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's probably stronger. Yeah.
I think so.
I thought this were great, and I think that it's yet to do, because they announced afterwards, didn't they? They got their tag match between them both. As I thought, I had Wardlow winning it because I thought that would be the best thing, is to like have the faces get the win then.
Yeah.
Next week at Fyter Fest. Well, also, I think in that you should have Jungle Boy pin MJF for the win.
Yes.
Because that gets that back, but then also MJF can still say, oh, yeah, but not one-on-one. Singles competition, you won't beat me. So he'll latch onto that. So I think, and I hope Luchasaurus gets another go. Hopefully, it should be a pay-per-view match, this, I think. The quality of these two. I feel like it was so good. You saw some great spots, but I feel like there's so much left on the table. I think these guys could seriously put on a good old 30-minute pay-per-view match. That just match of the night, whatever card it's on. So I look forward to the future where this goes, because like I say, we said this story would continue, and it is, and it's, I'm all in.
No, exactly. This
no
is
pun
exactly.
intended.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is the kind of storytelling they can do, where they've got these 6 guys, this bunch of guys here they're working with. So, like you said, MJF and Wardlow are taking on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus at Fyter Fest next week, and I just want to see where this one goes. Like you said, that'd be super cool if Jungle Boy got the pin over MJF, and they went that way. That'd be super dope. And then of course we see this Taz showing off the pure athleticism of Cage. Showing off his moves here, and he's got such a move set. You know what I mean? Like, really, I like that. It was really cool, that dissection of Cage's moves. Cage is such a huge guy. They really can't underplay. Like, what they should be talking about is this guy is a multi-time champion wherever he goes, right? Like, really build this guy up to be the world champion caliber, because he's not just, like a Brody Lee, where it's like he's a big guy who's intimidating. He's actually a proven champion where he goes. So let's play on that a bit. We see Britt Baker, so gold. Her plexiglass shield, like the Pope, she's got a security now. She blames Tony for getting attacked by Big Swole last week, and I think that was hilarious. You know what I mean? Just like we've said, Britt is going to be out for a while, but the fact that she's still putting herself in here, and even later on in the show, we're going to talk about, I even made a note later on when she comes back into the program, and she makes herself back, interjects herself back into the show. It was just, again, Britt Baker, again, just funny stuff. Now, Sheeta versus Red Velvet. Okay, talk to me about this match, because obviously it was very, very. You expect it to be a squash match when you're seeing the champion fight, like, enhancement talent. But give me your thoughts on just exactly what happened here in this one.
Like I say, that's exactly my thoughts. When she first come out, I thought this is what it's going to be, a squash match. She's got the title fight next week, so they just want to make her look strong, so it'll be quick. But it was the interaction with Penelope Ford on the outside that really gave it a good dynamic, because she slapped her before the match, and like that got Sheeta really pumped and angry, and she just wrecked her. It was a proper squash. That knee was sick. Falcon boom, straight over, and then she just looked like a badass here, Sheeta. She looked exactly how she needs to be for babyface champion, because then she got straight in Ford's face. Dex Kip Sabian, Dex him. And then just went on a tear. Like, I thought this was, I thought at the beginning, this is to make Sheeta look good for a thing. It worked tenfold. She looked awesome going into that fight. And like, poor Penelope Ford hasn't got a chance. I think they'll give her a few minutes, but I hope Sheeta just does something similar, really, because Sheeta is bae. I love her.
Yeah, exactly. I love how Ricky Starks there already getting in the camera time there. He's holding Sheeta back, and he got popped right in the face. I love his reactions to that. That was so funny. Okay, then we have up next, we had the TNT Championship press conference here. Cody and Jake Hager here were set to face off for a press conference. So we come out, and Cody and the family are in attendance. They're and the whole army's ready to go. Nobody on the inner circle side for Jake Hager. Arn starts talking. Cody starts droning on. Yada yada yada. Jake actually shows up. They pose, and it kind of got like right away. It was like, okay, are they gonna get physical at all? There are tables here. Use one of them. Nothing. And then like water got thrown at Cody. I thought it was super weak. The whole segment here was kind of like you have to have a press conference. You have to keep it relevant without having sort of a match or physical contact. But this one just kind of rang kind of cheap to me. I think Arn starting it off with the whole Cody rub again. It's like, okay, we get it. Cody's your man. But I don't know. I just don't see it. I think it's time for Cody to move on here. I think it's time for Cody to break up the family, to go heel, and to really just I don't know. I'd like to see him go against his brother again, and maybe even Arn takes Dustin's side instead of Cody's. Really, I want to see him push Arn away, push all of it away here, because the story they're telling here with Cody and the title. Is he going to keep the title long enough? I don't know. I'd like to see Hager win it, but I obviously see they've got a long program here with Cody, because I think they feel, or at least maybe even Cody feels like it's owed to him. I'm surprised he didn't even beat Jericho for the title the first time. I'm surprised they didn't just start off the first episode of Dynamite and say, Cody is your champion. Here's the belt, Cody. Just like Bischoff did to Triple H. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fully expecting Cody now to go on a reign of terror here. And this might be what we're seeing, is Cody's reign of terror. So what were your thoughts on the press conference?
I think the only really good bits about it was the fact that the sports presentation, like when AEW first came out, they're on about a more sports-based presentation. This is exactly the sort of thing you get, because in real, lack of a better term, like boxing and MMA, you do have press conferences for big fights. It makes it, you know. And like you say earlier with Taz analysing his moves, that's what you do in sports. So they're the sports presentation. I did like that, but I think Cody almost is heel without anyone realising it, and he'll still get cheered. But I think, like I say, because I wasn't telling the story I thought I would. I now know where you were a few weeks ago. He just annoys the hell out of me. I think Arn. I don't like Arn on the mic that much. No, but respect for him, obviously. But Cody, the way he's smirking and stuff, I was just like, I want Hager to smash him, And like, Arn is a terrible coach. Because I was talking about how last week I was like, oh, here's Ricky Starks. I've got you a guy you can beat. It's like, okay. And then this week it said, oh, when I first saw Hager, I thought, oh, no, I don't want you to fight him. What? Because he'll beat him. Yeah. So it's not even like a coach is supposed to improve you, train him so he's good enough to beat, not like get him, contenders who he thinks he can easily beat, or like shy away from people who he thinks can beat. So I don't get what Arn's role is, and he's cheated a couple of times anyway, Arn, I need to help him win. So I think the sort of Arn heel faction, and it's like they need to separate. It's like you say, Dustin and QT aren't, and don't know who knows what the hell Brandy is. So it's like just like I think it needs to split up, but. I've got Cody is annoying AF. AF's massive in my nose. But I see how you ring. It's like I think. I suppose it's good if it is just pure character work, but sometimes it just feels like pure smugness. Like he has got a good wrestling mind, so I think it is a really slow burn heel turn, but it doesn't feel that slow to me anymore. It feels like a heel, especially because I don't like him anymore. But that's a good thing. If I'm being worked, but it's almost a bit go away heat as well. Not like, oh, he's a good heel, I like to boo him. It's a bit like, I'm a bit fed up here. So that's the wrong kind of being worked, Well,
it's tough,
I think it's a bit too close to his actual smugness.
Yeah, and I think really the fact that they gave him this title and the fact that he's going through this, like, it really does feel like so. I don't know. I'm wondering, could they have given what would have happened if Archer won the title first? You know what I mean? What would have happened if Cody didn't win the belt? But we'll see. Because Cody, obviously, but it's not the Cody show is kind of what I'm saying, right? Like we're not all tuning in to see Cody, even though he might and the elite might believe it as much as, Cody's this underdog story of, oh, damn it, Vince didn't give him a chance and now he's running with the ball and now he's the best, right? He's a great worker. I don't think he's the best. Anyways, I digress.
But like you say, when Mock's not being there, they couldn't do a press conference for that. But it's like, well, if you're going to do a sports presentation, there should be a press conference for every match. But like I say, it's the Cody one because, we need to do look at us sort of thing. I don't know. But so we'll see how it goes. Hager at the end I thought were great. I just didn't say out and was still calm and collected, just swigging his water. Obviously, his wife threw the water in Cody's face and stuff, didn't she? Just for the end. But I thought Hager looked great without saying out, just like seemed confident. I don't care who you stood in front of him, you're getting beat. And I sort of want him to, I want him to win. I think it'd be good for him. He's been a beast anyway. I think it'd be good. Get the title off Cody. Let him tail heel away from the belt maybe, and then I don't know. Actually, depends. I'll let them tell a story. I'll just watch it the fan. I always fantasy book, don't I? Go crazy sometimes, don't I? Go down like Monk's Outline, and then when they don't do it, I'm like,
though. I love it, man.
Do that?
Yeah, why doesn't this happen here? This is what I would do. I love it. So then, of course, so I was watching Joey's Instagram feed yesterday. Like I said, I've been watching Dark now. I'm watching AEW Dark specifically for Sonny and Joey. I love this team they're doing right now. Super cool vignette. I saw this on Instagram last night. They played it back, where they go off. They're driving together. Joey's driving the car. They stop at a gas station. Sonny gets jumped. Joey's inside. Station. The petrol, they're filling up a little bit of the petrol there, and then Sonny gets jumped, and you're like, okay, boom, Sonny's defending himself. It's awesome. This is going hilarious. Joey comes out the scrap, and it's like, okay, now they're taking off again, right? Like this is a good pairing. I think it's a really awesome pairing for Joey because I don't know if he was really what he had going before this. He was always that hardcore dude, but so I was really excited about this one for sure. But then, so the match itself here, Colt Cabana and Brody Lee versus Sonny and Joey. And Joey's wearing trunks instead of his tights normally, which is like, okay, this is looking like adult diapers kind of poking through the bottom, not after very long. So that's kind of just took my eye away the whole time as I'm seeing this white trim there. But I'm always entertained by Sonny's athleticism. Colt and Brody are great as a tag team. It really shows their experience, the way they can work together so quickly. Joey and Sonny with his top ropes moves, seeing Colt roll over and scooch into position. This is my biggest pet peeve in wrestling, is they're both, Joey and Sonny are on the top ropes. Joey hits first, bang. Colt takes the move and then rolls right into position for Sonny to take his move. And it's like, okay, no, Finn Balor in WWE is the same thing. Too much scooching for me. I'd rather see the old style. Macho Man Randy Savage, let me put you exactly where I want you. You stay there. You're staying there. Don't move. None of this scooching into position crap. You know what I mean? Like, hang on. Just hang on here. Anyways, so we see Brody lays out Joey with that massive discus lariat. Gives the pin to Colt. Colt with the pin, so happy. Archer attacks Sonny and Joey after the match. But it's so good for Colt here in the Dark Order, I think. It really speaks to the whole story about Colt is getting wins and he's seeing the benefits. Even though they didn't like their styles, you could tell that Colt was like, hey, whoa, you guys are hardcore here, right? Like, I'm a good guy here. I think he's coming around, man. I think he's coming around. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, I really like the vignette before. And like, you see the sick... Oh, sorry. The sick knee that Sonny Kiss did in that vignette. That was so good. I was like, I think the guy just broke his nose, But I thought that I did really like that. And I do like the team of Joey and Sonny Kiss. I really do. And like I say, it's good for Joey. Was a bit aimless. Like he was having good matches all the time, but no story, nowhere to go. So this is good. I really do like the pairing. Both fantastic, great dives. Like you say, the double moonsault salt spot were really good. I think, mate, the pet peeve during the match was Colt Cabana when he first tagged in. He's like really reluctant, like, what, me? And then JR said that he's right reluctant, but it's like, well, how reluctant is he? He went to Brody Lee's office. He took the contract. He signed it. He's here, so he's not reluctant. And here, and the same in the little video package with them both, or interview with them both later on. They're acting like Colt Cabana's never won in his entire career, like he's the worst wrestler on the planet, sort of thing. And it's like, for this story, it works. We haven't seen much of him, but it just, I don't know. But yeah, so it just starts pushing him as reluctant when it's like, well, he's not that reluctant, is he? But yeah, I do like the team of Sonny Kiss, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing them two, and Joey Janela, looking forward to seeing them two go further. Because after the match, we had Lance Archer out of nowhere attack Sonny Kiss, didn't we? And then Joey throws a chair in his face, and he's just like, shrugs it off like it's no. So we've got Lance Archer and Joey Janela, haven't we? They've got a match, haven't they? Is it night 2?
Yeah.
But that feels a bit. I don't know. I'll say about Brody Lee because it's the same with Lance Archer. I went on about like where does Brody Lee go after that epic match with Moxley, where the AEW champion had to throw everything at him to finish him, everything. Ended up having to choke him out at the end because he couldn't beat him. This feels almost beneath. Not that Sonny Kiss, not that the angle, just the story. It just feels a bit beneath Brody Lee. But obviously, it's a longer story they're telling, I guess. But I mean, what is the story? Because the story seems about Colt Cabana at the moment. So I don't know. It just felt a bit like Brody Lee was sold a bit short after such a, like, even though he lost, he was still, you know, looked strong and dominating. So where is he in the card now? You know, because Brody Lee and Colt Cabana feels very lower mid card to me almost. You know.
Well, that's what I'm kind of like. So this is what I'm like. I really am liking where they're going with this whole, and they do touch on it later on in the program here, of course. The whole Brody Lee thing. I'm a big fan of where this is going because it's showing them as, you know, like this kind of like unknown sort of maverick like sort of force of like, yeah, these guys aren't main eventers, but power and numbers is going to really fit for them once they get their unit together. So I'm enjoying this slow burn we're seeing with the Dark Order now, especially with the way Colt is coming around, you know, and then we saw later on, like I said, with the call out and everything. So I thought it was awesome, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going with this whole Brody Lee thing, because I wasn't sure at first. I really wasn't sure, because it's like, okay, I've heard Brody Lee's an awesome wrestler before WWE, but then he was Luke Harper for like a decade, right? So now he's Luke Harper, and that's all he is, and he's so typecast. Will I be able to see anything past Luke Harper? Because like I remember WWE tried a couple times. They tried to repackage him a bit and make him a little bit more different, but they weren't willing to give it the full, you know, bang. They weren't willing to go full on with it. So it never worked. And in my eyes, I kept seeing that, right? So it did. It gave me, it put his stock that low for me. So to see him come here, I was really worried. I'm like, yes, I'm sure he's there. I'm sure he's an awesome wrestler. I'm sure Brody is a great talker, and I'm sure he's main event caliber when used properly. But I was worried that AEW was just going to throw him in there unnecessarily and make him too big too fast, right? Like how TNA made Christian Cage their champion right off the bat. It's like build up to it. Kind of like what they're doing with Colt, how you said, you know, you wouldn't even believe Colt ever had a victory in his whole career because of the way they're playing him now. But that plays into the whole role he's doing right now, where it's like people like myself who don't know a whole lot about Colt Cabana. I didn't watch his stuff going back to Chikara and all the indies, and, you know, I just thought of him as kind of a joke. That's lending itself very well right now because he's not winning, right? He's just not. So what I want to see with this whole Dark Order thing is I want to see this slow build that they're doing, and I think they're doing it the right way. I think giving Brody his championship shot right off the bat might have been a little bit of a misstep, but I kind of see why they did it, in that they needed to show that, you know, get him established a bit more. But it's
they're giving the right to tell these people what they need to do and stuff, even though he lost. That's what I mean. But I would have stuck on about purely the disconnect. It just feels like a different slot in the card. But that's the beauty of AEW. There's no, even whatever you consider the low card, are all fantastic with great storylines and, you know, great work. It's just obviously there's an order of, you know, the main event down. So I just felt the disconnect there. But I do like the story, but hopefully only if it leads to Colt getting a legit big win at the end. I like they're doing we'll get into the SCU and think, well, when because he had him on camera later on about the challenging SCU for the fight, didn't they? So we'll talk about that when it comes within the show. So I've got a few other points.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
So then we had, and then this is again, Dynamite putting on a match, SCU versus FTR. This,
just before we had the Sean Spears recap of Dark, because we've been talking about this for a long time.
That's right.
That they need to recap Dark. So they actually showed you footage from Dark and give you a bit, you know, so say it's that Sean Spears in here, but he's been doing this elsewhere. So that were good, because we've been talking about it for a while. They need to recap. So I saw it here. So that's why I thought it's worth a mention before we move on. Because
absolutely.
It's a good thing. It's a thing we wanted, and it's a thing we've got. So good on it. Good on AEW for that.
Yep. Tony Khan's watching our show. He's listening to the boys.
Definitely.
so SCU FTR. Okay, just like my notes right here. Already, even on paper, this is a top level pairing. These is two very, very established tag teams that, in my opinion, they're going to put on a barn burner of a match. I love these terms, barn burner. They have such similar styles. It's real smash mouth wrestling. The ref loses control over both teams. They're both going back and forth here. Both teams going over the ropes as a commercial break. Daniels. Okay, this is funny because in my notes it's like Daniels and Dax. Okay, I forget which ones, but Daniels went over with that suplex over the ropes, and it was super awesome. And then after the break, I got it down. Dax Harwood is bald, and Cash Wheeler has hair. So Dax is bald, Cash has hair. So Kaz with the unprettier. That was a sweet unprettier, by the way. Shout out to Christian Cage there. Awesome tag team moves here all the way through. So much ring presence in this match. It's ridiculous. Everybody here is such a ring veteran. They just know what they're doing. You know, even if Dax and Cash haven't been in the ring that long, the fact that Kaz and Daniels have been, this just played off like just a wonderful match to me. And then, of course, they hit the Goodnight Express on Daniels for the finish. Man, FTR is doing such great wrestling here. I think I saw a bit of a Hurricane Rana there, so I don't know if they're sticking away from totally not flips. I don't know if that counts as a flip, but definitely Cash with the Hurricane Rana in the match there. But yeah, they hit the Goodnight Express there on Daniels. I love that move. What I thought was really cool is this whole setup, this whole thing after the match. It sort of broke down and they set up more matches for Fyter Fest. But I'll ask you now first, before we get to that, what did you think of the match itself here? Because this was just, honest to God, just good, solid tag team wrestling.
I thought this was a fantastic tag match. Yeah, it was really gritty and technical. Great teamwork. Like, they're really pushing, obviously, that they hold the tag rope. They are a great tag team. And like you say, they don't flip, but this don't mean they're not agile and like excellent workers with some really good, solid power moves. All four wrestlers are great, like you say. And what was interesting within it, because SCU former tag champions, not necessarily this lineup, they had a visual pin. So that keeps a plate spinning for them to say, well, we, down the line, once all the big story with Young Bucks and such, they could say, well, we had you beat there. So I like that, because that protects SCU were like former tag team champions, the first ones. Again, not this lineup, but, and that's a good thing. You can swap Sky in when you more for, because Daniels is a bit older and coming towards the end. He could be the sort of, not weak link without having to say it out loud. They can protect the tag team champion too, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I liked the superplex when Daniels turned in midair to reverse it and landed on top. That looked great.
Yeah.
That looked great. And when Dax Harwood took the angel wings, it was like the old school pedigree. He took it he didn't even put his arms out. He took it on his face. So I thought props to him for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, fantastic match. Fantastic match. And I'm still not used to Dax. What is it? Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler.
Yeah.
They sound like porn star names, don't they? That's still a bit of a thing. But yeah, they're fantastic. They are a good tag team. They've got a legit shout, to say it best. So yeah, I really enjoyed this match. But like you say, it fed into a lot of story. So if you want to go over what happened after the match.
Yeah, so right after the match there, Dax Harwood on the microphone, he calls out the whole tag team division, essentially. Butcher and Blade show up in FTR's nice, sweet old truck there, and they're coming in that old alleyway on the side. Lucha Bros are behind them. Lucha Bros making their return here to AEW TV. So now you got FTR surrounded here by both tag teams, and they make the match. They say, you guys got the Bucks as your buddies, so let's have an 8-man tag for Fyter Fest. The Bucks, the Young Bucks, and FTR versus the Butcher, the Blade, and the Lucha Brothers, and it's going to happen. Lucha Brothers, they clear out Cash. The Bucks come down for the save, and I love how Dax is like, well, it's about time. And Nick's like, well, we're here, are we not? We're here now, that's what counts. You stop getting beat up. So how do you feel about this match, this story, as it's unfolding, and the match they're giving us here for Fyter Fest?
I'll say the promo work from all of them were great during this segment. Like Dax, whatever his surname is, his promo, I thought were fantastic. And them 4 teams, yes, please. Because you've got 2 flippy, high fly, super kick crazy, exciting teams, but also paired with 2 more gritty brawlers, power moves and stuff. So there's a great balance there.
Yeah.
So yes, please. And well up for that.
Yeah. It's going to look like a Civil War, I think. The Avengers Civil War.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So then from there, of course, we go back. We see Kenny and the Hangman. Honestly, the more I see these guys, the more I love the dynamic story they're telling here. They've definitely been together a lot longer than I thought they would have been. And then they bring up that last call finisher. I love that buckshot and the V-trigger together.
So good.
But it's such a sensitive situation. You know what I mean? Just these 2 guys who know they're not the best of friends. They know they don't get along, but they know they're amazing wrestlers. And they even talked about it right here. We might not be good friends. They're certainly not best friends. Wink, wink. But they are the better wrestlers. They are the better wrestlers for sure. Hangman's got such a future. His delivery here, oh my gosh. When I first got introduced to Hangman in Ring of Honor, it was like, okay, cool. This guy is, I get it. I like the look. good wrestler, but like he was already super oversaturated with the Elite, right? The Elite already had Skrull and the Bucks and Kenny and there was so much going on already. Hangman was just kind of like, what's he gonna do here? Like, is he even gonna last?
The other guy.
Yeah, the other guy. Yeah. But I loved how they just put that spotlight. They kept the spotlight on him. They brought him as one of the originals of AEW. And since he's been here, it's just been straight on, man. Cowboy shit. 100% I'm down with cowboy shit, man. What are you thinking about this? Kenny and Hangman during their segment.
Yeah, I like this because, like you say, we're like, oh, we're friends, but they're saying, we're not, but it don't matter, like you say, because we're the best. We're the best. So it's like, well, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. But like you say, Hangman's gold. I love it. I love him. He's one of my favourites now, out and out. Like you say, since AEW started, he's gone from, like you say, being the other guy, like the one you know the least about almost, and like, yeah. So like, he's a main eventer. He is the future AEW champion. He's over because he's fantastic. Like you say, his delivery, his acting's fantastic. Didn't want to be a teacher while he was still wrestling and stuff. And it's like, he's such a good actor. He's such a good wrestler. That's it. He's in a team with Kenny Omega. And I'm always looking at Hangman and more impressed by him. And she's not against Omega. He is fantastic. But I say it's a testament to Hangman. He's fantastic. So I think this was a nice little segment. And like you say, what they say at the end, they're good. They are good. I'm still going to whoop their ass, but they're good. I like the good, nice finishing line, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it should be that should be a good match. And props to her best friends. We didn't mention it earlier. They were dressed like lumberjacks during the opening match, weren't they? Like actually dressed like lumberjacks.
Yeah, it's super fun. So then we see Moxley Cage title match promo for Fyter Fest. You know, they're getting back into it. And again, like I said, Cage is one of those guys that he can legitimately take this title away. I know it's super early to take it off of Moxley, but Cage would be the guy to do it for sure. So we come from there. We heard that Moxley, obviously, doesn't have COVID, but Renee Young, his wife, does. So she's obviously going to get through it. I'm hoping, obviously, that you wish the best. So she's sick for now. So he's probably got exposure to it. So we're gonna find out from him. But now he could miss Fyter Fest because of this, right? Like if he's
quarantining... if it's 14 days isolation standard, isn't it? So if that were yesterday, it'd be ready the day before.
Okay, so it could still happen.
I suppose if it is 2 weeks, he could be cleared on the day of the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was supposed to be in action. Jon Moxley was supposed to be in action tonight against John Cruz. Instead, Joe Cruz, sorry. Instead, what we got was Brian Cage.
Well, John, I think.
Is it John?
I think so.
Okay.
Cruz. We'll just say Cruz.
Well, yeah, so that was funny because I had to laugh because Brian Cage comes out and he's just ripping the crap out of this guy here. He's just doing curls with him, having fun, not breaking a sweat. And I love Jim Ross's line right here. His family might be watching. Let's get his name on television. And that's when he got picked up the Cruz name. He's like, his family might be watching this, so we got to get him out here. At least let's say his name one time on television. Huge friggin' powerbomb into the ring off the ramp. Like, insane. This is why they have small guys for big guys. It's because of spots like this. This is why Marco Stunt exists. This is why the Johnny or Joe Cruz, whatever, exists. This is why Cruz exists. Then you get blasted with that drill claw. Cruz is done. Done. And I love Taz after the match, gets on the microphone, looks at the camera, and he says Moxley's at home with a bullshit excuse. That is the hardcore thing to say to somebody right now during this pandemic. To say your wife has COVID, so you're staying home instead of going to the hotel or whatever. That is the most savage, ruthless shit Taz could have said in this moment. What did you think about Brian Cage versus our boy, Cruz?
He's pure power, innit? He's another strong man. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a 3-way with Luchasaurus and Wardlow. Like you say, that powerbomb, like the throw into the ring, he launched him, man. Like, I was like, props to J. Cruz for taking that. Sometimes in wrestling you don't need to sell. He did, but that must suck. It's like, hey, kid, go out there and just get launched about and battered. Don't worry, it'll only be brief. But yeah, we're just Cage looks dominating, and that's what you want going into that. Yeah, and I think, like you say, it feels like I don't think I'd be against him taking the belt off Moxley. To say it so soon, I mean, AEW don't necessarily want to stick to all your classic wrestling rules. So what a way to, Jeff Cobb, Wardlow, a lot of these big guys, Lance Archer in his first main thing, are losing. So it's like you got to put one of them over strong. So like you say, he's a legit champion wherever he's been. So why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not let him have it, take it off him? And like you say, Taz saying, "Oh, yeah, you're using that as an excuse because you're scared." That what a good line, like you say, because it pushes the buttons, doesn't it? What's going on in world?
Yeah.
So overall, it's like even though it wasn't supposed to be cage, it felt like it always supposed to be cage here because it did everything they need to do on their regards. I don't know what I feel about this this line. Can you stop the path of cage? I don't like that because it's like, so what's his path to win the title? Isn't that everyone's path?
Yeah.
And even if he loses, as long as he's in AEW, he can still go for it. So is he always on this path? Can you stop the path? Does the path stop when he retires without being champion? So it's like, can you stop the path of cage? It's like, well, yeah, close gate. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about that. But overall, good segment. The cage looks like a beast, and props to our boy Cruz for taking that like a champion.
I checked it out. It is John Cruz. It's John Cruz. I don't know if I picked that up from JR. If JR said Joe Cruz, because JR is notorious for saying bad names, maybe I'll blame it on JR. Hey, John, what's up? John Howell. Cheers, brother. Cheers. So we go backstage. We see Brody Lee and we see Colt Cabana. They're backstage, and Brody is saying, it feels good to win. And then he goes on and he straight up challenges SCU to a match at Fyter Fest. Colt and Brody versus SCU. So good. And that's what I'm saying right here. Here's my notes. So good. This is the slow burn I wanted. This is Brody building up his army of the forgotten and the losers. And the Dark Order will come out on top. Again, I just wish that Uno and Grayson had more of a comeback and there was a little bit more of a... But I guess it's too early for them to have a Wolfpack split. You know what I mean? Like, they can't do that yet. So I get that. But even just a face-off would have been like, so you're the Exalted One. Yes, you know this. Blah, blah, blah. What do you think there going ahead? This is the big match. SCU versus the Dark Order is happening at Fyter Fest. Brody and Colt, the chapters continue. What do you think?
Well, I'm glad it's got Stu Grayson. It's a 3-on-3, isn't it? It's all of SCU. And Stu Grayson's in it. So it'd be good to see Grayson and Brody Lee within a match. And I think that gives them more credibility to win the match, because I don't want Colt. I mean, we know Brody Lee's fantastic, but I don't think they should be, with Colt being so as weak as they're portraying him, to beat the first tag team champions. Like I say, who've just had a visual pin over another team who are still really strong. Yeah. So I'm glad Stu Grayson, who's fantastic, he's awesome. When it was just them two originally, it's like Stu Grayson's the one. He's athletic. He can leap. His corner spot where he leaps over the cop, fantastic. So I think I'm glad he's in the match, because then that brings the Dark Order back. Like you said, they just walked out, didn't they, over a week to say, oh, yeah, we're back. So this will be good to see them in a match together. So I'm looking forward to this match. And but again, I have got in my notes here, Colt seems pathetic a bit, because he still seemed a bit unsure of himself. And, but... I don't know, that's just me, but it's part of the story, I guess. Yeah,
Colt's the lost sheep right now, right? He's definitely being the lost sheep, right? So I think he's playing that role well, and that's kind of like.
He also seems a bit stupid as well, though, is what I mean.
Yeah. He does.
Like, what, you want me to wrestle? Oh, I won. It's like, so. But I'm looking forward to that match. I think it'll be good, especially because it's a 3-on-3, and we get to see all SCU as a team, because they don't often get to wrestle as a 3 often. And like, I'm looking forward to seeing Stu Grayson.
I would have loved it if Colt came into all of this with I'm a champion. I've been champion around the world. Like, I've got wins around the world here. What's going on? Why can't I get traction here? Right? And then really build it up. So it's like you give a bit more of his experience, because somebody who doesn't know Colt and watching him for the first time is like, okay, what's this guy? Who's Boom Boom Cabana here? Right? What's going on?
Well, maybe that's what they're going for, though, like you say, because it fits with the story more, like embracing that not everyone might know him. So, yeah. But like I say, I'm still enjoying the story, and I want to see where it goes. And I can see him getting a win over SCU.
Absolutely. We saw our Fyter Fest preview, 2 nights. It's going to be a pretty stacked card here. I've got it pulled up here, so let's just some
great matches. Some great matches coming up.
Yeah, so night 1, we've got MJF and Wardlow versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yep.
Private. We have Hardy Party versus Santana and Ortiz. Well, it's just Private Party, I guess, with Matt Hardy versus Santana and Ortiz. Hiroku Shida versus Penelope Ford, the AEW World's Women's Championship match. We got Cody versus Jake Hager for the TNT Championship. And we got Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, the champions, versus the Best Friends for the World Tag Team titles. And that's just night 1. That's just on July 1st. That's next week. So as opposed, instead of Dynamite taking place, it's going to be Fyter Fest night 1 for free on TSN or TNT or wherever you're watching this awesome show from. Wherever you're watching this awesomeness from. At the end of this episode, can you both say what match you're most pumped for Fyter Fest? Yes. If I can remember to, I will do, for sure.
We will, John. We will.
So night 2 for Fyter Fest here, the build-up for Fyter Fest. Moxley, the champion, versus Brian Cage for the AEW World Championship. We have Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. We've got FTR and the Young Bucks versus the Butcher, Blade, Phoenix, and Pentagon Jr. Lance Archer with Jake Roberts is taking on Joey Janela. We have SCU versus the Dark Order, which is, again, like you said, the 6-man tag. And we have Nyla Rose in action. So, I mean, oh, man, that is a lot, man. That is a lot going on there.
Well, we can tell John now. I think that for me, it's the split between Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho and the 8-man tag. I think they're the two I'm sort of most excited about, and they're more like blood feuds as opposed to title feuds.
Yeah.
So I think and well, the tag match should be fun as well. But yeah, I think them two, it's hard to split them. I think maybe Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho, really.
Wow. And that's the story. That's the story they're telling. And we're going to get into it here. The main event, obviously, was OC and Jericho's face-off. I'm a big Jericho mark. Everybody knows this. I think I always look forward to Jericho's matches. But yeah, like you said, the big one there, the FTR, the Young Bucks, that tag team match there. But then the other one I'm really looking forward to, honestly, is I want to see Christian Cage. I want to see Brian Cage. I want to see Cage win the title, man. I want to see a title change here, and I think that this could be the night to do it. Maybe Cage is big enough. Maybe he's big enough that he's going to actually topple Ambrose. Moxley.
Yeah, thinking about it, John, that's a really difficult question, and that's a props to AEW because there's some fantastic matches. I'm just looking forward to both nights, John. How's that?
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, keeping going with Dynamite here this week, Tony gets handed a message from Britt Baker, and it's addressed to Big Swole, and I can't believe it, man. That was so funny. It's just like I thought she was going to challenge her to a match, or I thought she was going to put up Rebel there for a match, like you said, against her at Fyter Fest. Instead, as soon as you see Swole on the outside of this bin, you realize what's going to happen, like the potential that Britt Baker has put herself into this little container, and it's not actually protecting, but it's got an open lid. So, of course, we see Swole comes and dumps the garbage on Britt. So this is, again, it's giving us comic relief. It's giving us the entertainment we like. I like the Swole and Britt segments, and I know you do too. But what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, I think Britt's funny because now she really understands the character. She's really funny. She comes up with quick lines. I like how when she wanted to ignore her, she's like, "Oh, it's soundproof. It's soundproof. Can't hear you. Can't hear you." But like you say, you knew what was going to happen, like you said, in a little portmobile. But I do. At first, I was like, "Oh, don't oversaturate it." But she's entertained me every week. Yeah. And she's like that good. She's giving Big Swallow rubber. She can't even feud with her. She's just I'm a bin man. That's what I do for a living. So it's put, throw her in a bin. It's in a bin. I liked how she was going, I was in that bin for 10 hours. 10 hours I was in that bin. It's like, no, you're in about 20 minutes at most. So dramatic and over the top. I love it. So yeah, I really like these segments. I think they're great. More of them. I just hope she gets back from injury so we can have a match.
Actually have a match, yeah, because she is a great wrestler too, right? We can't forget that here. So then going on, we have our our last match of the night before the main event segment. Santana of the Inner Circle, Santana with Ortiz versus Broken Matt Hardy. So we're told that Broken Matt Hardy, Damascus had won the poll earlier on Twitter to see which Matt Hardy should face Santana. So we got to see that. We saw the new drone. We saw Neo 1 come out there. I love that black, that Onyx Phantom 4 Pro. It looks so beautiful. I was really pleasantly surprised.
You're such a drone nerd, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
I love it. No one else goes into such detail about that sort of stuff. Hey-o.
Right? Like I've got my drone right here. I call this one Johnny 5, actually, right here. So this is Johnny 5 for all the short circuit
Joey 5. Don't you mean Joey 5?
But yeah, so again, I was pleasantly surprised with this match here. Santana, just solid wrestling from Santana. It just makes me happy to see so much actual wrestling every single week on Dynamite here. Broken Matt Hardy. Broken Matt Hardy might be one of my least favorite of the Hardys. I think this whole Damascus thing. Broken Matt is being a little bit played out to me, so Damascus is the most played out of it. Just to see him going back and doing the other Matt Hardys is really good to me. I think I'm very entertained with it. I like good in part, good stuff, bad stuff about Matt Hardy, but he's such a good wrestler, and he's showing this every week. AEW, I don't know what they're putting in the water at AEW, but they're making all these legends just come back stronger. All these guys like Goldust, like Matt Hardy, Jericho, all these guys you thought maybe just be slowing down their paces, they're not at all. Not at all slowing down. Thought it was super awesome. What'd you think of this one, man?
Well, I do like this version of Matt because it's the most aggressive, violent version, isn't it? Like he'll bite in, headbutt into the back of the head. But I really didn't like the fact that the fans voted to which it shouldn't be a flick of a switch for him. It should be story dependent, match dependent. You know what Matt do I need? And especially since Santana and Ortiz facing Private Party, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt Hardy's coaching them. Shouldn't it be like the coach version of Matt Hardy? So it's more story relevant, like, you know. So I didn't like that.
Good call.
It's like they've gone, oh, should we vote? Should we have fans vote on which one? And then it's like, actually, we've said it now, so we'll have to do it. But it should be, it should be story dependent. So it definitely should have been the version of that's aligned with Private Party. So I didn't like that. But the match itself was great. Like you say, Santana's a fantastic worker. Matt, did you see the Irish whip, strong Irish whip, where he like almost didn't let go of Matt Hardy, and he just smashed like shoulder first on the mat. It looked like he dislocated his shoulder. Yeah. It looked like it was going to be a normal Irish whip in the corner, but he didn't let go, and he just slammed. It looked like a rough bump. So it was like a bit scruffy. Like the whole match were a bit scruffy, but I liked it because I do like both guys. So yeah, apart from the picking the wrong version of Matt, I enjoyed this. And then we had Matt get the win. Obviously, it was a roll up, so that protects Santana anyway. But then we had briefly Santana and Ortiz standing tall, and they. Oh, can I just mention the at the end? Yeah, that's it. When they stood tall, when they hit the street sweeper, that was the best street sweeper I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Matt looked like a champ. That looked so good and so devastating.
Oh yeah.
And then they got chased off by Private Pie. But so I really enjoyed this. Apart from the fact it was the wrong Matt, but the work itself, the match itself, was good, and I aided the story.
Yeah, I really like what you're saying though about how Matt Hardy should be story driven. When he changes, it shouldn't just be a random flick of the switch thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really like that. Like if he got hit hard enough or something, that'd be super cool. And of course, we come into the main event. The main event segment here: Chris Jericho, Orange Cassidy face off. Man, oh my gosh. Okay, again tune out right now if you don't want to hear me fucking just talk about Chris Jericho here. Okay. Wow, the chicken crossed the road joke of pro wrestling. This became a shoot. This became a shoot on OC so quickly. He's saying everything that the internet wrestling community has been saying. He's saying all the critics are saying about OC. It was almost like Jim Cornette was in his ear for this one. He was just spitting this venom out on OC of like, look, man, you're a joke here. But then I love how he says, if you want to make it in wrestling, you got to be different though, right? And that's true though. And he says, you got yourself over on your own by being yourself. And there's a really good message there by Chris. Because even though he said, hey, man, here's what I don't like about you, I got to tell you, I admire the fact that you got over being yourself. You know, you did it your way and you did it and it's working. He even brought up talking to Tony and the Bucks and Kenny about it. And he said, they told me the same thing everybody does, is they like him. The fans like him. And it's like, well, come on, right? But I love that line Jericho used here. Reach deep down into those pockets of yours and you pull out a man-sized miracle. That was great. Chris laughing at his own jokes, man. He's just so good on the microphone. And I love when Jericho took the glasses off OC. And I love, this is one of those good things about there's just being 20 people in the crowd, right? Is you can just hear somebody in the background. You don't know what you're doing. Just as soon as he took his glasses off, he broke them. And then sure enough, man, OC just goes, he just snaps. He just snaps because, of course, so Jericho with that great line, though, right? Is if you try to kick me in the shins with that crap, with that bullshit, I will drop you. I will drop you, and the match is going to be over in 30 seconds. And it's like, wow, that was like real. That was straight up just real. Like, I will not play your game. And then, of course, 5 seconds later, OC hits him with those things and with that little super kick, and that's when Jericho took the glasses and broke them. Is because he's like, I'm not going to play your games, and OC just goes off on him, man. Super brawling all over, scrapping all over the arena there. Again, me being a production value guy, I love that they use the crane jib again. I love it when they pull the cameras into this kind of stuff. Man, OC was really bleeding from that one, though. That was crazy. What did you think about this last segment here going in? How do you feel about the match building up?
I thought Chris was fantastic here. Like, there was a lot of truth in what he was saying. Like you say, it was shoot, and I think it was pure what Jericho was thinking, not just what's on the internet, and what other people have been saying.
Yeah.
What's John saying?
Oh, John, sorry. Yeah, so he says, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought of Cornette when Jericho was talking about OC's gimmick.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it's from Jericho. I think that's exactly because it reminded me of on the cruise, Chris Jericho cruise, the second one we went on, when he had Marco Stunter on stage to sing a song with him. And Chris told the story of, like, when I first saw this guy so small, I'm like, nah. I said, are you joking? You're going to hire him? Like, you know, but then he's like, and he said, but over's over, and this kid's over. And you could see there were a genuine friendship, and they were like massively put him over so much. So he's like, "Oh, you can have a gig on the next cruise if you want."
Yeah,
so I thought there was a lot of truth from Jericho, exactly what I would have thought about Orange Cassidy. But then also again saying, "Yeah, but you're over," and I feel like Chris respects that. So it's like fantastic. So I thought, and like you say, I liked how he said, "Oh, you give me the little shin kick routine, I'm going to knock you out in 30 seconds and win," and then. I think that could be a good start to the match. Even though they did it here, all you've got to do is replay that line in your hype package. You know, your video package before the match. You replay that line of you do your little shin kick routine. I'm going to knock you out in 30 seconds. So imagine the start of the match. That's how OC starts. Hands in pockets, kicks his shin, Judas effect elbow, out, 1, 2, and then he's the first person to kick out of it.
I think we're going to see that, dude. I would love to see that.
Imagine that start. He's the first person to kick out of it. Jericho's like, what? That could get in Jericho's head so much then you can have... I think Jericho will win, but what I'll get... that's why I'm looking forward to that match. I thought, Jericho was fantastic here. And obviously, like you say, snaps when the glasses thing. Good brawl. I like how he used the camera arm because that's the thing that Jericho's been doing during his matches. He'll grab a camera. So this was like a unique spin on that, a different spin on that.
Yeah.
And that bleeding, that looked hardware, that, didn't it? That genuinely looked hardware. Because he was bleeding from the ear the other week, so I don't know, maybe he's just got a cut or something that keeps reopening. But that looked hardware. But it always helps a bit of red, doesn't it, when someone can stand tall. And like you say, the Superman punch through the table to end it off. Jericho proper selling, laid out.
Man, that was good. That image of just Chris just like...
Yeah, like... And that shows he respects him. He's selling that like Le Champion. And my last notes just says, I am so excited for this match. Because I genuinely, it might actually, John, how I was asking earlier, it might be the one I'm looking forward to the most. Especially if we get that start I've just booked.
Yeah, exactly. If they just book it the way Dean...
me.
Listen, we know AEW watches. We know Chris and Tony watch the show. Just do it, guys. Just listen to us. Listen to us for once, because we know what we're talking about here.
So, I think they both look great. And like you say, they're in the main event slot having a face-off, and they're not even the main event of the thing. That's just the power of Jericho. He's the champion. And so these are two of the most over guys. There's so many over guys because it's so good. That's why I love it. That's why I love talking to you about this show. Because it's just gold all over the place. Yeah. And it was, so this was great. Chris is a legend. OC, future legend. Can't wait. You're a legend, Des.
Dean Midgley, always such a pleasure, brother, man. I love it. Like you said, it's a highlight of my week when I wake up and it's Wednesday. I know I'm about to watch Dynamite that night, and I know I'm going to review it with you the next day. So it makes Thursday so much better, brother, I swear. It's lunchtime here right now. Yeah. We're live on Facebook. It's evening for you there in England. Dean, I love AEW. I love watching the show, but more importantly, I love that we get to connect like this every single week, dude.
Right back at you, dude.
Awesome. So to anybody watching, if anybody watches, thank you so much. Thank you. We
John's
appreciate
watching.
it. Yeah, John is watching. But thank you guys so much for supporting the show here. Check us out, YouTube. I just got word that my Zazzle order, we do have the shirt. We have a Triple D shirt on Zazzle. Yeah, we do. And so mine should be in here in a couple of weeks, so check that out. Check us out, YouTube, Facebook. We're all over the place. Until next week, until Fyter Fest. Hey, we will do a Fyter Fest preview. Night 1 and night 2. Yeah, we'll do our predictions. We'll do a preview show, so thank you guys so much here. I thought that was a new one from John. Sorry, my bad. I thought that just popped up there. That's awesome. All right. So cheers, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time.
Much love.